So, finally time, you've had enough. Time to get out. Whether this is divorce or a breakup, you've had enough. You finally are ready. How do you go about this? Okay, I want to tell you, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I did everything wrong. And everything I'm going to tell you to do right here is everything that I didn't do, and I live to regret it. And so this advice is coming straight from the heart. Everything that your friends have told you about their divorces, everything that you would naturally believe about an amicable divorce and co-parenting and all of that, throw that out the window, because those rules do not apply. If your husband or wife is a sociopath or a narcissist or anyone in the cluster B arena, I'm sorry to say that you are going to have no chance of having anything remotely close to an amicable divorce. Best you can hope for is to try and get in and out of this thing as quickly and as unscathed as possible. And that's going to take some real doing. And once it's on, you are the enemy. That's it. It doesn't matter that you have been married for 20 years and you're the mother of his 4 kids and whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You are the enemy once he's decided that you are being discarded. Even if he's the one, if he's leaving you devastated. He has an affair. He has another woman. The whole thing. It's still, you're the enemy. You've done nothing wrong. It's still you. I had put all of my dreams aside to help him establish this business. I was working in the business, going along with, basically a real supportive of all of his dreams. And it was what I wanted to do. I was cut out for that. I wanted to be a part of a team. I wanted to be a wife. I wanted to be a wife and a mother. I really did. And so I was doing what was true for me. It wasn't like I was being forced into this role at all. I was a role that I chose. But it was definitely a role that involved a great deal of trust. And I trusted my husband. It was not a role, it was not something you would have done if you had the slight, there was no plan B. My whole life was invested in this man and in our shared future together. So there was no safety net for me. And that was especially true because of the family that I had. Now, I didn't know how bad my family would be. I certainly believed that they were supportive of him to the degree that he was a good husband to me. I thought that if he, they weren't crazy about him from the, at the very first. And I thought that everything that they did as far as, accepting him had to do with being my parents and loving me, and I loved him, and so blah, blah, blah. So that if he betrayed me, I was their daughter, and there would be no contest about, where their loyalties belonged. But I would be wrong about that. It wasn't, there was never any time when they, when they stood up for me, which is really unfortunate because in the very beginning of this whole divorce thing, our situation was such that I really believe that if my parents especially, and my brother, if he had not been able to get just full on board participation of my family, it may have stopped everything right in its tracks. Because he didn't want to lose anything. He didn't want to lose popularity. He didn't want to burn a bridge. He didn't want to lose any assets, and he didn't want to lose any social contacts. So if my family had said, had just basically done a thing a normal family would do and be like, been like, no, it's not okay for you to abandon our daughter right when she, she's sick and she needs your help. The kids need you. What are you talking about? No, that's not okay. If they had stood up for what they basically had all my life, said their values were, which was that they believed in marriage and they believed in staying married through, thick and thin and all that, and they believed that, that their blood was thicker than water and family mattered and, not airing the dirty linens and all of this stuff. These were all messages that my family had sent me all my life. If they had been true, if they really, really believed what they had told me all my life, I would have been safe, because he wouldn't have been able to just get them to just abandon their daughter, start doing a smear campaign with him, believing everything bad, even believing bad things about me, even when they knew they weren't true, starting gossip and rumors about me to make him a pathway out. It just wouldn't have happened. He wasn't going to leave our marriage unless he could do it without losing any assets and without having anybody think badly of him. And he needed my family to do that. And so they were the first ones that he went to. And if they had shot it down right there, and it wasn't even that they had to stand up for me necessarily, they just would have to have not just been so willing to just go along with what he was doing. And of course, the reason that they were willing to do that is because they had their own issues that he triggered. He made a full-on lie and made it sound like I was gonna, that I was gossiping about them, that I was doing something against them, which their paranoia and everything was so, it was just so sad because they didn't know, there was no evidence of that ever being true. And there was, 30-some years of my being a loyal and dutiful daughter to draw from, where they should have known that that wasn't true. There was just no proof of it. They projected themselves onto me, so they were disloyal, and they didn't have empathy, and they didn't have love and loyalty and all the strong feelings for family that I did. And so they just thought that it would be easy for me just to be disloyal and just to discard them, as easily as it was for them to discard me. They were willing to believe the worst of me, trash our relationship, and help my husband divorce me and take all of our assets, and even try and take my children from me, and in the meantime ended up just destroying the whole family. And so this was how it was set up. And so it was just a really horrible situation from the get-go. Assuming that your situation isn't going to be as dire as mine. I'm assuming that, first of all, you're talking to people and not the narcissist, that you are talking to other people, that you're sharing with your family and you're sharing with your friends. If you have a narcissistic family, because this is what I was doing. I was protecting my family and my husband by not talking to my friends. And there were many reasons for doing that. But I would talk to my family about my husband a little bit, and then they would blame it all on me. And then I would talk to my husband about my family a little bit, and he would blame it all on me. I had no one telling me the truth, no one. And so, but I was protective of both my family and my husband as far as telling anyone else. Part of it was shame. I was ashamed of how I was being treated, and I was ashamed. My worst thought, my worst fear in life was that I was unloved. And if my own family and my own husband couldn't love me, what did that say about me? This was my thinking. And really, it wasn't as clear as that. It was all on a very much of a subconscious level, but it would have been too heartbreaking for me almost to admit the words, say anything alluding to that my own mother and father didn't love me, or my brother. Those were things that I couldn't imagine saying. And my husband, they didn't love me. I don't know how much I internalized that they didn't love me. I don't know how much I knew it, but I certainly didn't want to tell it to anyone and have it, and start hearing it coming back at me. They don't love me. It was just, my worst thought. Plus the fact that with my husband, I thought that he was really going through something, and I thought he was going to get through it, and I didn't want to betray him. I didn't want, I figured we were going to get through it and then we'd be fine, and I didn't want to have my friends thinking badly of him in the meantime. And so I was protective of him. And so, this is the thing. You have a lot of wonderful qualities as an empathic person, and empathy is a prerequisite to love. So you are a loving person, and you love them, and there is nothing wrong with that. That is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and that is how it was supposed to be. Unfortunately, this divorce situation and the family court situation, in the judgment of life, in the courtroom of life, at the end of the day, you're going to get your justice there, but in the meantime, if you're trying, there's not going to be justice in family court. Family court is not rewarding, loving behavior. It's just not. It is very much a playground for narcissists, in my opinion. I mean, I thought there were lots of rewards for behaving really badly. And I didn't see a lot of protection for kids there. I didn't. And if you are hoping for what I thought, this is what I thought. What I thought was, first of all, I thought, he loves me. He's not going to try and screw me over. We didn't have anything when we started out. He knows everything we have is what we made together. I was a good wife. There's nothing he can say about me. Whatever. If he wants to get out, he wants to get out. And I even figured that if he wanted to get out, it really had nothing to do with me. He was going through some kind of midlife crisis or something, and he just wanted out. And I was like, you know, I finally come to just accepting that. I figured he was going to regret it, but I couldn't stop him. But I didn't think I never thought that he was going to try and crush me or ruin me on the way out. I didn't see it. It didn't make any sense to me that he would do that, because he knew how much I loved him. He knew I'd been a good partner. You know, there was nothing I'd done wrong to him, and he knew that. It didn't matter. What I didn't know was that none of that was going to matter. The past was immaterial. Right and wrong was immaterial. All he knew now was that he was getting a divorce, and that put us at odds. Now that was on, it was a contest, and there had to be a winner and a loser, and we were enemies. In his mind, that's all there was to it. It was like, this is his reptile brain. It's just, you know, there is no past, there is no relationship. There was, you know, I am now just an enemy. It doesn't matter. And likewise with my family, he knew better than I did. He could see them, he understood them immediately, within minutes, better than I did after a lifetime with them. He knew the minute that he met them. Well, first of all, even before he met them, I had confided in him about this, you know, having these missing memories, and about how my mother seemed to get so offended when I told her about it, that she just thought, she was so concerned with what other people might think, and she didn't want me telling anybody about my missing memories and all that stuff. And that, you know, that really hurt my feelings. I felt rejected. I felt like she wished that I wouldn't even come back. If I couldn't just be happy and telling them that I was perfect, and they were the perfect parents, and everything was great, and I didn't have any problems, that they wished that I just hadn't come back at all. And so I told him that, and he stockpiled away like little nuts, like a little chipmunk with nuts. And 10 years later, he pulls this thing out and uses it to his advantage. And you know, he basically just has to make them think that I am a threat, that I'm a threat of their exposure. So see, he understood about them what they were scared of much better than I did, because he was also scared of the same thing. And so I was this threat. You know, here these are people that I love, that I just, you know, I would do anything for, and they are terrified of me. They are so threatened by me, and I have no idea why. And they're threatened of me because they think that I know something about them that they don't want the world to know, A, and B, they don't understand how loyal I am, because they're so disloyal. So they think I have ammunition against them, and they think that I'm going to use it to expose them, and you know, and it's enough to expose them to themselves. You know, just to be the mirror that reflects back to them who they are is enough. That's enough to make them want to get rid of me. And you know, I don't understand any of this. It will be for me years before I understand any of this. You have to rise out of the good person that you are. And you have to think strategically, which is not the way you think. This is not the way you think. So what the advice I'm going to give you is everything that is going to feel completely counterintuitive to you to do. But I swear to you, it is the right thing. I swear to you it is. You're not going to do anything that is illegal or immoral or anything like that, because above all, you do not want to get in the mud pit with them. You know, they are going to go low, and they will do anything. And at the end of the day, you want to be able to know that you didn't do that. Your kids are watching you, for one thing. And for another thing, you know, if you lose it all, which, you know, you very well may, you have to at least know they didn't change you. You know, they didn't make you into them. You have high standards of who you are and the kind of person you are, and you're not going to lower those. You're not going to get to be a petty, materialistic, money grubbing liar. You know, you're not going to get to be that. What you are going to be is you're not going to be a patsy, and you're going to know who you're dealing with. And if this advice ends up being, you know, stuff you didn't need to do, no harm done. It will have just been a precaution, and I will have just been overly cautious, and you can just say, oh, she was silly. But I don't think that's going to happen. But better safe than sorry. Okay, so, and everything I'm going to tell you here, I think I've said this already, but everything I'm going to tell you here is something somebody told me to do, and I didn't do it. I said, you know, you should hide some money. You should, you know, do all these different things. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. I don't have to do that. He knows that, you know, all of our money is ours shared, and that you know, he's not gonna try and screw me out of anything. I mean, he loves me. Ultimately, he loves his kids. It's not like, you know, no. The person you thought you knew no longer exists. He no longer exists. The person that he's about to turn into, he or she is about to turn into, is someone you do not know. And it's probably the more realistic person that they are. I'm sad to say. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that. So let's go through some things you need to do. First of all, you need to have very firm boundaries, and you need to really protect them. Don't tell them what you're doing. Do not tell them what you're doing. You make sure that you're taking care of steps, and not let them in on anything until you are ready to go, until you are ready to pull the trigger on it. So you get a lawyer, you have a plan, you start taking care of hiding, you know, putting some money aside, you have work lined up, you have whatever it is, whatever you need to take care of getting lined up, get it lined up. If you have some medical things you need to get taken care of, if you have, just, you know, some basic things you want to get taken care of, get those done right away. Loose ends, tie those up, tie up those loose ends. And get your needs for companionship, friendship, sex, whatever, met somewhere else. And only meet with them when you're feeling strong and secure. If you've had a bad day with, you know, something bad happened, and you're feeling desperate and weakened and tired or anything, don't meet with them that day. Only meet with them when you are in a good frame of mind, you've had plenty of rest, you're not hungry, you're not sleepy, you're not anything. When you're feeling secure and strong, that's when you meet with them, and only then. Don't meet with them when you're feeling vulnerable. He is going to look at your vulnerabilities, as reasons to crush you. And he will do anything. The ends are going to always justify the means. It's okay. The right or wrong is decided by what he can get away with. That's what decides right or wrong. If he can get away with exploiting you because, you know, your love for him or your trust in him or whatever, he will say to himself, it was your own damn fault for being so stupid. If he could get away with that, you deserved it. That's what he's going to tell himself to justify what he's doing. And he will be able to justify anything. And what he wants, everything. There will be no limit to what he feels entitled to. I mean, it will be unreal. It will be unreal. He doesn't want you to have anything. He wants everything. He wants every last penny. He wants every last friend. He wants you to have nothing when it's over. Even if he's walked away with just way more than was fair and equitable, if he has to give you anything, it will just rub him raw. It'll just rub him raw. He will just hate it. Don't expect justice or validation in court. Family court it's not even like a criminal court. You have to have proof. You have to have evidence of things. You're much more likely to get justice in a criminal court case. Family court is all about perceptions. And they are going to manage that. They are masters at managing perceptions. This is their arena. This is what they have been doing all their lives. They are cut out for it. And so you're going to have your work cut out for you. Just not getting trapped in what they're doing. So they're cut out for this. Their lawyers are cut out for this. You're going to be outnumbered in terms of a narcissist against normal people, because in my experience, the lawyers, the judges, even the guardian ad litems, there is a great deal of narcissism in this whole arena, and you're going to be outnumbered. And so the best thing that you can do for yourself is to stay calm. And that sounds like, basic advice, like, of course you'd stay calm, but I'm telling you, it is the hardest thing in the world to do. When you see that your kids are in jeopardy and you're losing control of what's happening, and there are lies about you, lies are getting believed, and your kids have to go home with their dad, and you know that they're in danger there, and it is a scary, scary situation. And he is stealing money, and he is lying about you to everyone, and you've lost half of your friends because they're believing him. People are believing these lies, and you just can't believe it. It's just a nightmare you can't believe, and all of it is completely crazy making, and you have to stay calm. It sounds like an impossible thing to do, but you must do it, because no matter what's going on, he's telling everyone that you're crazy, and even though it's the most sane thing to do, to act crazy in this crazy situation, you have to act calm. And the thing is, he's going to be completely acting calm. The situation, you're both going to be in the same situation, and he's going to be acting completely calm, because he doesn't have half the stuff at stake that you do, because his heart's not breaking. He's not worried about the kids. Get this straight. He doesn't love you, and he doesn't love the kids. And empathy is a precursor to love. And if you don't have love and you don't have empathy for your kids, it makes it possible for you to do all kinds of things. He can get away with doing all kinds of things that you can't. And so, you're going to be thinking, why aren't we just putting the kids' needs first? He's thinking, kids, schmids. I don't care, nobody's needs matter but his own. And it's not even needs, it's just wants. He wants everything. He wants all the money. He wants all the friends. That comes way above that your kids need their mother. Your kids need peace. Your kids need their mother to have a fair and equitable divorce. And they need it to happen quickly. And they need their dad to be good to the mother. They need that's what the kids need. That should be coming first, but it won't even factor in. That's not even going to be on the that's not even going to register for them. And this is all going to be crazy making for you. And still, you have to act calm. You can't be getting upset about it. And I know that sounds like the hardest thing in the world, and it is the hardest thing in the world. And when someone said that to me, I thought, you gotta be kidding. This is my life we're talking about. These are my children we're talking about. But that's precisely why. It's precisely because it is your life and your children that you have to stay really calm. Because he's going to be telling people you're crazy. He probably is telling people that you're using drugs, because that's a big, huge one. That works really well in family court. And it's the minute someone says it, it's like saying that you're a child molester or something. You can't get the stain off once someone said it about you. And the more you deny it, the more guilty you sound. You can't act erratic. He's getting you in a situation where being erratic would be the only way to act, to have that be normal, and yet you can't do it. You have to try and act very calm all the time. And so you have to talk to your friends, talk to a counselor, meditate, sleep, eat, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself while you're doing all this. I did everything wrong. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating. I wasn't talking to anybody. I was just only talking to my lawyers, who were not comforting, who were not helpful. It's going to become very clear to you something that the courts do not understand, and that is that there are worse things than a missing parent. There are worse things than having a parent die. And you are going to realize that your children would be better off without this person in their life at all. This is going to be awful for you. This is going to be awful for you, and it's going to be awful for your kids. But it's not going to be awful for him. He's going to enjoy it. He or she, by the way, please, when I say he, understand, I've had both men and women a narcissist in my life, but the person that I divorced was a man. And so right in this divorce situation, I have man in my mind, but believe me, I know, I've seen this exact same thing happen with the woman being the one, the narcissist. So I know it goes both ways, and I say he, so please don't be offended by that. But especially I get a little bit heated up when I'm talking about this divorce thing in particular, because of course I have only divorced one person, and that was a man. And he was seriously the most harmful, you know, he was absolutely the worst possible thing for my kids that I could ever imagine. And as a mother, what I spent my kids' childhoods doing was mostly just trying to undo whatever damage it was that he'd done to them. And I didn't succeed, you know. I didn't ultimately succeed in doing that. You know, it was the damage that he caused my kids was really, really incredible, and just overwhelming damage. And I have no idea who they would have been had they not had a sociopathic father who put us through so much hell.